Like and subscribe for more Reddit videos. What secret codes are all around us that only people in the know recognize? At the mall, they taught us to use Nora if someone was being belligerent and we needed to get the cops in here. Nora equals need officer right away. For example, if a guy was at the counter screaming and cursing, threatening us but we couldn't escape, he won't leave, and we felt unsafe, we'd ask him to hold while I called a manager. Then I'd get the phone, call the police station in the mall, legit cops, not mall cops, and say something like, "Hi Nora, this is so and so calling. I have a customer issue I was hoping you can help with." Then hang up and announce the manager was on the way. Cops showed up instead. In Indonesia, whenever you're dealing with anyone working in the government, police officers, custom officers, airport security, etc., when they start talking about how strict the rules are or how they need to meet some sort of quota, that means they're expecting a big bribe. I tend to play dumb and go, "Oh, okay then. I guess I'll just have to throw this thing out / go to court / not bother getting this document." It's fun watching them panic and try to find a subtle way of asking for a bribe without saying they want a bribe. Graffiti is its own language to gangs. There are ways to even politely correct whose turf it is without going to war. Gangs will even post rosters of who is in their clique, who they are, what area they claim to own, what their businesses are etc. Edit. Some examples in my local area, California. An X through some gangs graffiti is a polite way to correct someone if they incorrectly claim turf. No general hostility is implied, just means hey this area is ours, back off. If a graffiti is circled, then an X is put over it with another gang's writing to the side of it. It means that this is our turf, and we are keeping it that way. It has a little hostility behind it. This could also mean they are willing to brawl over it. This may only apply to California, but a 187 spray painted over gang graffiti, 187 being the California code for a homicide, it means war. Please note gang graffiti changes constantly and this can be regional. What something may mean one day may not be what it means another day. There's the mail nod code. I asked a guy what was up with it once, and he explained it like this. Down is a nod of respect, either to acknowledge doing something the nodder approves of, or it denotes a more professional / business only relationship. A nod up is more contextual. If the men know each other, the upward nod is like, "Hey, what's up? I acknowledge that we know each other, but have nothing to say right now and or am in a hurry / busy." An upward nod can also be disrespectful and aggressive in ways I don't quite grasp. I guess as a display of dominance, not easy to understand as an outside observer. Few years ago I worked as a nightclub bouncer, so I could make some extra cash. The code for all security to the dancer floor, because shit is erupting / riot imminent, was for the DJ to play Usher. Yeah. Noticeable because it was an EDM club that had a bad reputation for fighting, and the song was so obviously out of place we'd all be alerted. To this day I can't hear the song without getting a surge of adrenaline and getting ready to brawl for my life. Below for background track for a brawl. When dealing with lawyers, I'm not optimistic means you're fucked, but I don't want to be dealing with a negligence suit if I say no and you somehow pull a miracle out your ass. 437,737 means up is in online dating. I saw a profile of a girl saying she has 437,737 cats and thought, I'm sure that number has some significance. Apparently if a person puts that number in their profile it means they have herpes and they want to let people know without getting embarrassed. According to Urban Dictionary that number spells herpes on a keypad. I was once on a cruise ship and there was an announcement on the tannoy for the crew. Starlight, Starlight. Some were visibly shaken, and it caused quite a bit of upset. Later discovered that was code for elderly passenger has died. The QEI had a small onboard mortuary. On a cruise ship I was on there was a meeting on the schedule for Friends of Bill, which is code for Alcoholics Anonymous. Also, Friends of Dorothy, which is gay / lesbian. When I worked at a supermarket many years ago, we had code 12 which was called on the speakers if they saw a very attractive person in the store. The code would also say where, so for example code 12 bread. We had a code for either 6, just can't remember the other one. At my store, security to section meant we don't have security, but we see you stealing, asshole. When I worked retail, my store was divided into sections. Section 1 was front, section 2 was electronics, etc. If we saw anyone being suspicious, we would say over the PA, "Security, you have a call on line 2," meaning someone was being sketchy in the electronics section, and a few employees would go to keep an eye out. I wasn't aware of this until a month after I got the job, when I asked the manager where security was, because they get a lot of calls, and as soon as I asked, I realized I was just a bumbling idiot. Got fired 2 weeks later. A few years ago, I went to pick up a large pizza from Marcus in Michigan, and the cashier asked, "Would you like that cut with a clean knife?" And I was like, WTF. She looked super frightened and rushed the order after that. Was that a code? I used to work at a pizza place. We had a pretty big Indian population in the area. Nearly all of them were vegetarian for religious purposes, and would ask for their vegetarian pizzas to be cut with a clean knife to avoid contamination by meat. Comcast has an awesome one. If you call the cancellation line and say, "I would like to cancel my account," they will offer you premium channels and shit for free. I used to be a Comcast customer service agent some time back. You'd be amazed at how much power you as a customer have. Edit. Grammatical correction. The Jeep wave. I rode in a Jeep for the first time a few weeks ago and got waved at a few times before I asked what was going on. My wife's Mini Cooper actually has instructions printed in the owner's manual that you are to wave at all other Mini Coopers. Naturally, one of our hobbies is mocking people who wave at us when we are in her car. When dealing with the Japanese, "That will be very difficult" means no. When dealing with sawdust, "God willing" means yeah. Probably not gonna do that. When dealing with the English, "I'll bear it in mind" means I've forgotten / I'm not doing it. You should come over sometime. I will forget this conversation as soon as I turn away, and I suggest you do the same. As a Brit, I had to explain this to a very happy Canadian once. When a motorcycle taps his helmet, it means cops up ahead. When a car gives you 2 quick flashes, it means speed trap ahead. Sometimes it means put your fucking lights on, it's raining. Or really anything else the driver wants to get your attention about. I've seen it as your brights are on, dumbus, cops ahead, traffic jam, crashed vehicles, and just a general slowdown. Yeah, I've always just sent / interpreted it as a non-specific check yourself / pay attention. If you get flashed, something about your vehicle or route requires attention. Man or woman wearing a black ring on your dominant hand ring finger means they are in the lifestyle. Aka, swingers. Well, crap tosses out black ring. Well, shit, buys black ring. You two really missed an opportunity to conduct some economics. They're still getting into the swing of things. Your driver's license number. In many states in the US, your DLH is an algorithm based on your name and date of birth. These days, the licensing system generates the number when a new application is created, but back in the day, they were configured manually by the licensing clerk processing the transaction. I worked for my state's DMV for 8 years, and I knew a couple of old timers who could look at a random name and rattle off the corresponding license number. I never got that good, but I did get to the point that I could look at certain license numbers and tell you the first and last name. Edit. Yes, I know more about how the coding works than I explained. That's because, while I appreciate Reddit's intellectual curiosity, I also appreciate that it's the small details in systems like this one that are effective at stopping those with ill intent from doing very bad things with information, like how to generate valid driver's license numbers in your basement. Also, as I mentioned, this is a state-by-state thing. Some states use the same coding system, Michigan and Maryland, for example, but for the most part, one state's algorithm will produce a very different result from the system used by the next state over. Like and subscribe for more Reddit videos.